Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's welcome to Wheelin' Around the World, segment on Silver's Grand Magic
And
Circus.
welcome to Flyte. I have the legendary Simon Tait, king of all ringmasters in all of Australia. So how you doing, Mr. Simon Tait? How you been?
I'm doing very well, fighting fit at the moment, enjoying life. I'm doing promotions and marketing management for Silvers at the moment.
Very good. And I have not seen you in, I don't know how many years. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about you. Yes, it has. I just wanted to talk a little bit about your story. I think your legacy has to be told. You have brought forward so many different, in different shows. You've been amazing with what you have brought to circuses and different acts and all that kind of thing, and your magic. We just want to know a little bit about you. And for the world to know a little bit about you, I know you.
Yes, well, I believe everyone has a little child inside, you know, and I have the opportunity to let that child run free every night in the performance, and that's the biggest thrill to me, is to see the effect on the little faces and the big faces in the audience, you know, that really come to life. I just love entertaining people and seeing that reaction. It makes it all so worthwhile. It's so gratifying for me.
Yes. So what brought you into the industry? As to the circus. You know, how did you end up? I don't even really know about you.
I started when I was a kid. I was always involved in musical theatre, and through my high school, I was involved in all the theatrical productions. I went to university it's called the University of Southeast Queensland now, and I studied dramatic art. And then I went back home to my hometown, Rockhampton, and I got a job as a in the railway. Oh, I entertained the troops in there, but I had everyone laughing. It was great. Yeah, that really wasn't satisfactory for me. So a gentleman come to town, and he was putting on a vaudeville style show in one of the hotels in Rockhampton, and I went down and auditioned, got the part, and there I was dancing and singing and telling jokes, bit of stand up on stage. Yes. Loving it. There was a little old lady I was working with called Peggy Haig, and I was working with her in this vaudeville show, and she was an old, hoofer, as they call them, dancer from the vaudeville years, from London, and they used to do pantomime in the winter. And in summer, they used to travel with Billy Smart's circus. Anyway, a circus came to town, and my mother had taken her kindergarten children. She was a kindergarten teacher. Took them to see the circus, come home, so it was all talk in the household. And then I went back and I told Peggy about it, and she told me her story and said, "Oh, circus is wonderful. They're lovely people, you know. They're like a big family." So I went down to see the show. Right, and it was raining cats and dogs, and I had the current girlfriend at the time in tow, and I was very dapper in those days. I had the most expensive leather shoes, and I was all beautiful, dressed in cream, cream pants, and the lot was an absolute muddy bog. And I walked a few steps, and I thought, I don't know, this is not for me. I think I'm going to go back to the car and we'll go home and watch some TV. And the girlfriend said, "No, come on, we're here. Well, let's go." And I thought, "Arr." So I tiptoed through the mud in there and absolutely loved it. I fell in love with Dougie Ashton. We all know and love Dougie. He's up on the Gold Coast now.
Yes.
He was like Charlie Chaplin style clown.
Amazing.
From Ringling Brothers. Absolutely. I had so many wonderful times with him in his caravan, mate. You have no idea. Laughing until 4:00 in the morning, you know. It was wonderful. And Joey Perry used to come over, and he'd be there as well. It was a all-night party. Anyway, so I fell in love with it. I went up after the show, and I saw Rick Virgin. Remember Rick on the trampoline act?
The trampolinist I've ever seen. Superman.
Amazing, huh? Amazing guy. And I said, "What have you got to do? Can I become an apprentice clown?" Because I loved mime, because Dougie was doing quite a bit of mime in the act.
Yes.
And I'd just come out of, college and done all the movement and mime, and I used to really enjoy it. And I said, what have I got to do to be an apprentice to a clown, you know? And Rick said, "I'll go and see the lady in the ticket box, you know, she'll look after." Anyway, I went over, and eventually I talked to Sue Harrison and got a job. And I joined up a couple of weeks later, I went up into Mackay. I bought a little 16-foot caravan.
Yeah.
And I had a big 302. I had a big 302 V8 T-bar automatic sunroof. I flew off into the sunset with my caravan going, woo! Behind it, I lost the door on the caravan once. That was hilarious. I got to the town and, hey, where's my door? It had blown off somehow. So that's how I got started and became great friends with Lindsay and Sue and Carl, of course. So it got mixed up in it that way, and I just loved it. In the beginning, I thought, as an actor, it'll be an interesting interlude, to get away and do a little bit of life experience, travel Australia, see the world, get a bit of experience under my belt too, because you need experience to draw on as an actor, of course.
Yes.
So I went off into the sunset hoping to get experience as an actor, but didn't realise I'd just fallen in love with the circus.
Yeah.
And it just went on from there, and I was clowning initially, and I loved the clowning. Great, I was having a lot of fun, and I ended up. I got offered a job with the Bullens and Perry's Three Ring show many years ago. They offered me a job as a ringmaster, so I went away with them, and the next thing I had an offer from the Great European Circus to go over there. So I went over to the Great European Circus and I met Harry Weber, of course, and we become great mates.
Yes.
And we used to sit in the pool at the, the Holiday Inn in Kuala Lumpur. We were there for a couple of weeks, and I remember planning on how one day we'll have our own circus, all this, these dreams,
But you ended up with the show. Then you ended up with was Weber Brothers you went together with or something?
First of all, I went with Silvers. Harry introduced me to Anna and Anton.
Okay.
And they just put together their Illusions Magic, Silver's Grand Magic Circus.
Yes.
So I ended up, I went with, I did 4 years with Anna and Anton, which was fabulous, as the ringmaster and grand illusionist. And then of course, Harry and I started up a laser game business. And one day we were sitting there soldering electronics together. We both looked at each other and said, what the hell are we doing? What are we doing? This is crazy. The circus people were entertainers, and here we are soldering little bits of wood together.
I get ya.
No. So anyway, we joined up with Rudy. We got Rudy involved, and because he had the wonderful dog act, and Rudy's also a great mechanic and maintenance guy, and Harry was great at logistics, and I was great artistically, and the three of us together just worked a dream, quite successful with Webbers. We did a wonderful tour of Australia, and my cousin was a musician, a very good trombone player.
Yes.
And I convinced him to come away with us, and he put together a small band. So we were then that stage we were travelling with a live band as well, which was hadn't been done in Australia for many years. Probably Worths was the last one with a live band. So that was we were very proud of that. And then of course we got all the new lights, when they first came out, the intelligent lighting, which just put the show right through the roof. And we had the Gomez's with us. We had Rudy and the dogs. I did a one magic trick. And some animals. We had some camels and dogs and a couple of monkeys.
I remember the show. I do remember. I was younger. We didn't join with them until 1997 because I joined with them in New Zealand, and it was the same sort of concept.
Oh, right, yes. Yeah, we went to New Zealand. We thought we were going to die. We went over there first of all, and we went into Hamilton, and we hardly got anybody. Oh, it was a nightmare.
Yeah.
And we thought we were going to have to pull out. And our old publicity agent, Orb Paulson, he was a cattle farmer from Gympie and a very successful man in his own right. And he knew all the circus people from Perth, Bullen through, because Perth and him were very good friends because they both had a Rolls Royce. Now, if you had a Rolls Royce in those days, you were buddies, you're in the club. So, that's how Orb got involved. And he came and saw Silvers originally and joined up with Silvers and worked for them for quite a while. And of course, we got to know each other very well. And when we started Webbers, we took Orb along with us. When we went to New Zealand, he's over there, and we were going to come back home with our tail between our legs because it cost us a heck of a lot of money. It was everything we had, you know, to get over to New Zealand.
Yes.
And Orb went to the next town, Mount Maunganui, and he said no. He said no. He said, we're not going home. He said, come over here. We're going to do well. We went over and we blitzed it. Absolutely. And we didn't stop from that moment on. And then we got the press behind us. And once they realised it was a good show, they had confidence to promote us. And over there, it's like stepping back in time 30 years. And everyone talks to each other. So wherever we went, the press, the word had passed, you know?
Yes.
And they were everybody was ready to do deals, to welcome us with open arms. Towns were happy to have us, you know. I remember one town we went into, it was terrible. It rained, it was a beautiful soccer oval, and it rained and rained and rained. And we crept onto the lot, and when it was time to go, we had to get this enormous industrial log hauler from out of them. You could hear it coming 10 kilometres away. This thing driving down through the hills to come down and pull us off this lot. Everything was everything to the axle.
I remember New Zealand. When I was there in '97, it was always full, and I remember the lots there too. You know, they're pulling out all the trucks all the time, and sometimes like 2 or 3 4-wheel drives would be pulling out the semis one after another, all the Land Cruisers and everything.
Yeah.
It was pretty rough over there.
I wanted to say to Carlos, I love you. And you're one of the most amazing performers I've ever worked with. Because I don't know, you're doing this, you know, with other people, but they don't know who you are, mate. The most amazing, consistent triple somersault I've ever seen. Every night you would catch every single performance. And if you missed, you went back up, you caught it. There was not one show that I can remember, right, that a triple somersault wasn't spun and caught. So I just wanted to say that's great.
With you announcing, mate, honestly, you brought the hairs used to stand up on my arms hearing you. So of course it's hard to miss. After that announcement, how can you not miss? It's like, you know, I gotta match this voice.
You know, my father, way before the Ringmaster thing ever come into my imagination, was a public speaker, a very good public speaker. And he had a great vocabulary, you know, and he taught me how to, you don't start talking until people are ready to listen to you. And you must have their attention, you know, and silence will get their attention usually. But then, and when you speak with clarity, you speak with a nice cultured English, and you start and finish each word. If it ends with a D, you put a D on it. If it ends with a T, you put a T on it. So you enunciate your words, speak clearly, and at a pace that everyone can understand you, and pick words that have, you know, a myriad of meaning of words. The English language is so wonderful. And if you choose the right word, it can give it colour, it can give it texture. It's an amazing craft to use wonderful language. And English gives you that in spades. You have so many variants of a meaning of a word, all kind of ambience you can give it of a feeling. So that was one of the most important lessons for me, was what my father told me when I was just a youngster, and I've carried that right through.
And how did you end up with this? I don't know. You're just an incredible voice. The incredible, not just your voice, your presence in the ring, your hand movements, when you used to do the magic, and just you are the epitome of perfection when it comes to a ringmaster and a leader of the show. The Ringmaster is the leader of the show.
Well, look, I think there were a number of influences. There was Enid Blyton's description of a ringmaster. There was Walt Disney with Dumbo. Remember Dumbo was with the circus and that little ringmaster character he had?
Yes.
There was you know, like in the pro wrestling or the boxing, you know, corner number 2. You know, we have, you know, you know, real with gravitas, and command, and people believe you. You can drag them anywhere, take them anywhere. They'll follow you like the Pied Piper. And that's exciting.
It's an art that
It was my imagination, of all those different things rolled into one, and what I thought a ringmaster should be, the flourish, the flair, the spangle, the dramatic, the melodramatic even, and to inspire and excite the audience, and not just excite the audience, excite myself and excite the performer. Everybody, loves it. Everybody gets a thrill,
well,
what's about to come.
You did it best. I have to say, I've been around the world and then some, and worked for many, many different companies. And honestly, I think you are one of the only ones that ever really put the hairs on my arms when I used to get ready for the triple somersault.
Really?
You are, and this is why I'm doing this, and this is why I've Flyte is for people like yourself. You had an amazing career. You had an amazing legacy, and you're still doing it. And it's you have to be. It has to be shown to the world, and it's great because it's an inspiration for other ringmasters that want to take on the adventure of being a ringmaster.
Yeah.
And this is one of the reasons why I wanted to interview you as well, is to give the upcoming generation, something to look at, because you are
Yeah, sure.
Australian icon, inspiration for ringmasters, and you have to be remembered. You have to be seen. You are, for me, the best, number one.
Well, thank you.
Anybody else can, disagree, but in my eyes, there is no one better than you.
Hey, listen, mate. Who am I to disagree? No, I'm joking. It's very nice of you to say so, mate. I don't take compliments well.
Yeah. But like I said, for me, this is it's such a privilege. I've also found my passion, and we've all worked so hard, we've all practiced so hard, and there's not really a place where people get to leave a little bit of who they are, where your grandchildren, or your kids can look back and go, that was my father, or and I would have loved to been able to do something like this when my dad was around, so that I could see him every day, So this is a place where this is your story. This is about you, and I'm very happy to talk to you. I really sincerely think you are an absolute inspiration to Australian circus. You are a professional at top level.
I love you, Carlos. Thank you very much, buddy. It's been a joy to do this. I of course, could talk on for hours and hours and hours, but we've only got a bit of time.
That's
Come
all
back
right.
and see me when you're doing a 3-hour podcast, son.
Yes, we'll get it all together. But Simon, you have been great, and I'm hoping to come down to Victoria to come and see you in person.
That would be terrific, Carlos. Can't wait to see you, mate.
All the best, Simon, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, buddy.